I wanna share with you, and you can share with me. Come, let's share together. Oh, KTA Mobile, KTA Mobile. Technology worth sharing.
It's the future.
Ghana fue yedie na bayo yedie na bay Epestin fertilizer booster aya purely organic efrasa simu ene de mass no obo ade ensa no pe na menu akayo se wudro bia nim enti se ode yafu a anya ade aduaba no anase wo a wudi no benya sosaso bia na chese be ma kwaye aye dekorate kane no a ebe fa na tuma pa e de afra na de ma Epestin eda nso kra ne se enema no wadua na ewuwo na flowers ni aduaba na etiti guo no agya wadwo a se wudi Epestin kanu a ene tese magic no ebe ye prom fe na aso aba bebre anwadi mu pa eti se no kwiafo ebenya sika ene anigye awo mabra bomu a na utimi se enya sam keto akora Epestin e mammo piafo apanifo monfrɛ ahoman na monje nkyiremu ya ɛkyɛ medie 0552 505723 ana plus 160 922 78043 Epestin fertilizer booster piao mama kwadwuma ayani kapa
making farming sexy again. Epestin.
Agona milo, Ghana tall, a fiel mamau, Agona minya Ghana vajoy, and ya Gavaro Ghana, a Gavaro low, a Gavaro Epestin fertilizer booster, a Gavaro Ghana vohe, a bled the local shama here, Gavaro Ghana vohe, Epestin fertilizer booster, a chicken bagwara kamala vohe, not quick koro, Kutachojia, a Kutachona dolak palak bantohi, not Jaku Gohare, I got Donalacho, but Black Dover Ghana, Mashava Towela, operation video self your ball. I got truck bonahi. Epestin fertilizer booster. Akakafo. Anyara bonava garahi. Akblad and they have vimala. Ne ajibe anya fi and takpo Epestin fertilizer booster la. Antayo number afiahi. 0552 505 723. Adola blochin la yaji 1609 227 8043. Epestin fertilizer booster. Anyara bonava gana. Akblad and they have vigala. Show red ball.
Yo, atiefo ene ahwefo sabre yeda munyina ase ene ye yawada yeda obade asese aye ne pena ene anwumren so ye nyina yatimi aba behia mu ewa hanom na bibiara ekosede eko ene anwumre yede aseda kese bema eye yaboafo na sabre Osha, it's been a very long time. Amuhu say Maya Shepe say ya say Maya Branty, I'm a Branty, and Abamuhu me a check. Madus design say coronavirus at a romantic. Say what yes in that them it is a walk March. And I walk ya whoop say it's PPA life like this to whoop a bow tie be wedding being in your man, they will lapel them matter or square no more. Not just on sabetimi akamadus designs omubo tie tv nti aya kanyina ne se erade enhira obibiara na sabre hu ye nyina ya wahanam na hu ya papa wahanam na je se munyina munimu emre a asom na munyina munimu emre a asom emre a sadia bi kwaji sika dro no so na won so obetimi beje aware edro enti sabre jumade sronkwan ye papa atudi se wo se dan di aware ni Hannah marriage enti ana nwumrei owon komo kakra woni yen ba bedi na wo dey hwe topic no eno dey scroll was so say mental slavery in relationship enti yadam wase bebre sabre dey na chose mama ye besa a minute na ye besa ababak yadam wase bebre say abreni nyina munya emre ede emaye munya emre ede emaye okay. Ti right now no yada obi biara ase Okay, this abre mo me kofa ye papa na ye mfa no emra so ebiom. Yo, ye papa. Sabre de na just say ye den chia kese e de maw. Ye mawo akwaba nso e wo wankasa udwumadie so. Ye da wase se abre ni abre nyina wunya emre e de ema ye yenim se waye inhira e de amaye bebre na ugusu aye inhira sa na yenim se ahokwo any visitors omo be join ye nyina no da bia obi biara e kan ti de kan nyina ne say yeda wase bebre say abre bia wunya emre na yetimi beje eye aware aduro kakra efiri wo honom ene aware munyansa edi firi ho ani awrade munyansa awrade nkyerɛkyerɛ nso efiri honom ti we de yensa mre yenim say na wo mre sa but ene so enadwumadie no ye dwumadie soronko a any question can come. And adwumadie no any question bibi na wonte ase bibi na eboda o bibi na ha adwene a wobetimi e de aba aside topic and papa eba bekasa afaunti and de open and a program near open for any discussion ti adam ase bebre nti da we de kafra ase makasa bebre madi chia me di mate so ase na me me drive car no ti we de fa che me da ase bebre nti e beja mu e de amount.
Na producer mekasa na de sa na nka ye kɔ no.
Sa. And day.
Atiefo ne ahwefo da masi bebre se nenso onyame amakwan na yetumi ahyia. Ene ye hwe aware mu akwaye slavery in relationships that hodo mu ene na ye pese ye hwe from day one abra ebia onubi na obi ahu obi ba ko betimi aye ba ko slave omo call many no anything ne niema bebre betimi pop up enti epese enya abotre na ye to ye bo na ye hwe sa ade we but me pese ye hwe ase etimi establish bibi and I strongly believe he said and I strongly believe we say ebe boy ye bebre say to me establish sa ade no ye kasa servant and say ye kasa slave the two are not the same. A servant gives service to someone into a servant or some obetumi serve obi na onye slave. And a servant gives service to someone. A slave belongs to somebody. And the obetumi aye asum obi na onye nakwa. And obi nso betumi aye obi akwa. The two are not the same. So the question we say, who say the betumi atiase a say baby or say they started says our mu no ye oba no and a bema no a servant and a way slave or some and a way akwa. Now therefore a questioner a more do ye say who warrior some na more some mo produce MC be a bit me that question anka ahwefo na chief for omo hwe sabre omo hwe dacho be hwe nyina no omo so de omo adwena ba nka beboa bebre because yi kakra aware mu no so ware a enipa kro no eye wodia enti enipa kro no eye wo slave anasa aware mu no ye waware mu say ye swas ye boa ye ho we are there to serve each other.
Inti inti anya say is your spouse a servant or slave? The question is your spouse a servant or slave to you?
I tell for them for I'm say a question is a bisa. Say ye quote Bible more. Bible beka say unipadua no enye wo dia biem na mum eye we dia but dia me pese ye dwene ho na ye discuss na ye hwe nne no say is it possible that in marriage somebody can become a slave? And only idea me pese ye hwe. And in marriage or in any relationship, are we supposed to serve ourselves or ye be slaves? Mayo. Na no ni idea and a bebo modern na ya kan ye ti aboma ye be discuss na ye be hwe. And ye started with ye started the me person ya dwene eba so ni say a servant gives service to someone. And the servant no dear servant no or render service. And you yes servant. By a cast a slave and no dear or you be dear. Now say ye she we are a quite be brave or ha obit me ebe ye slave. Say ye sha tete na program to the be ania kotitinti. Say nkatete no ena ye kwa se busua ekobo bosia and say wo ba aware mu a bibi wa aware mu e bi ende ye twe ya dwene ba so beboa bebre ade ba kwa wa aware mu ene say ye kwa ya aware mu a anka etura de na ye agye say abusua edeka e wo ba bi a anka oba na wo kwa aware no ene de ne beko enti agi tura de no na se busua ne de ka ye de akwa kutua na enya abofra no ana oba na wo kwa aware no se ni ho a abanifo se tete no na de nke ye ne se ye de koto asase ye de koto asase ye de koto asase na nkontanom sekan o magye no o mo de akwa kodo na o manya bi etimi de ahwe womo ewo fast no another sinner ensa enti abusua mu yetimi de obi kosia wowa okosom enye no nko a ye nyina anim se ye ka slave trader se de na yetuchi nipa ne aton no ema ye ma me ne papa no bebre ebe pie ha ene mia hodo eno so wo ho but enne de ye pese ye twen ya dwene ba so aware mu no eye adwene mu mental slavery in relationships. Is it possible say obi betumi aware na adwene mu oye akwa ane it's possible. There's a nice way a pop it up e wa aware mu a say edu ba bi na sa aware fo no anhwe ni ya etimi ko kriti ne ko fa de ma bebere eba aware mu so wo ware a eno nkyere se waton wadwene se aware mu ontimi enkyere wadwene ontimi ene bema ana oyire anwini bibi ho a efise enema bi akoso endidi akoba na se wo ni hwe ka ana ontimi nka hwe. The moment a bibi sa wo ho something is wrong somewhere. And until ye pese ye dikan ye establishing say one aware mu in relationship ebetimi abase adwene mu ba ko betimi ayakoa ye kase adwene mu akoa ya e woni ema bebre ne gina ne ema bebre so. Number 1 ubetimi ayakoa e wa adwene mu a untimi nkahwe oba betima ye bema sa bema betima ye oba sa na baby a aya na enye kura eye abra oba ne bema omahunu omo na omo steady omo ho ahwe so omo ye compatible omo bitumi aware. It's unfortunate to say yetimi konya mmaa bi bema na wo steady no te so person na oba foforo bia bekasa ebinom kra yetimi sizi omo phone. In fact, and yet wrong. When we are studying each other to see whether we are compatible or we are not compatible, we shouldn't even go there. If we say, oh, we worry will be one, on worry no, na even our worry no, and not just will be in privacy. I know the idea. I told the be an emergency system. I worry there. Me need me privacy. Everything be you open. It's never true. And this and one say when you will be most steady mo na mo person mo be warrior me pam chow temptation say one hwe ya obey oba no slave kedu be cry servant di ankaye na we be slave then am dey kan actually mo say the two are not the same. So we are servant now we are slave, the two are not the same. Slave, no, you belong to somebody. You don't own yourself. But servant there, a service, and I will render. And to me, a slave, and not just say you belong to that person. You don't have the right. You can't act. You can't choose. You can't do anything without his or her approval. As maybe says a bit messy our rim, and you will be the Musa, our rim sanity. Obano a slave, not so a servant. One move I could do baby or your slave. You were many being so much I could do baby or your slave. Yet a one year to your book. When we talk about that mental slavery, no. They say, Uni Pakrono, what dream? What dream? The other person who feels say, Uni Bibiaka, Bibi Pabia, any what dream. Into one no, and I was say, we take decisions, no implementing decisions on your behalf. Until when there's Bibukra Babe Tohua, with Adrian Papa, dream in the team, Onya Bibianka, Oni Bibiaka, and no woho. Another level so a woho yene say utumi ewurem obi wa utumi wura warem na be ma no di bi ewura nimu ana oba no di bi ewura nimu eninti no osuro no enti ontimi nkasa etubo mu say ontimi nkasa adwene mu na wo na control no eno so the second aspect of star mental slavery na ye ka ho asem. E die what the toso miensa e wo ho enso ne say etimi nsu si say one e bia ebufuo oba ne bu afu bema ana bema ne bu afu oba etubon se say ebufuo na aba no oba ne ne ho biem bema ne ne ho biem. In fact obi a otimi ma obufu bia no obey your master. Anybody who angers you controls you. It is there. Obi a was show obufu bia no or control. And until now, I will say you're very careful in this life that we will not allow certain people to create anger in us in order to control us. You will hear negative comments. Some of them will not, in fact, in your crowd, now say, the themselves social media into one who how I told the beer, I saw for no movie air contokwa, and now even not a soft for crowd. wahu ntokwa bi ekoso wo ema mpanifo mienu bi a wo moko wonim se no obi aye no yonko slave adenti na ekasa we koka we no aseti we enti look at how level moko enti say no omo mienu na ma mpanifo mienu na wo moko social media no obi abe obi slave. That's the unfortunate thing, as you say, a war no. Enti say obi timi hwe wabufu na anka de a normal sense no ka we okay anka wonye no. The moment you do it no, the person is in charge of your life. And so not just emotionally and control what capture your mind. Anytime you act on your feelings, this thing your mind is not working. And until my feelings, your thinker and control, we think through issues. But idea what a rare challenge in say. So one you're very careful. Our real now or spouse it create anger in you. There are people who say menfanche. If you decide not to let go, at the end of the day, the person is in charge of your life. The person is controlling you. And so you go to work, and by the time you get home, and so at the end of the day, mentally, emotionally, we are enslaved. There are certain things that I was saying here, but because of anger, because of ebufuono, you can't even do one yet. So at the end of the day, what is happening? And to say you call our real mua, you would our real mua. Another area, ubetumi abeye akwanon. Ewo wadrim, ewo kwan beso. And they say, so uma ukunu tembia o create anger in you, o yere e create anger in you. Na ubufua. Because at any point in time, before the babano, if you are not very careful, say if you can't control yourself, manage yourself, now based on that anger, based on that feelings, something is wrong. And Tubon said, Adrinimu, you are not okay because Adrinimu no, who is in charge, who is in control, your wife, your husband, or your spouse or your partner is in control. And what that we are saying is that in relationship, it is easy that you can become a slave. In relationship, we are supposed to serve one another. I am not my partner's slave. Menyen slave. I can say I am his or her servant. And that perfect. But menyen slave. If you are a servant, you give service to someone. But if you are a slave, you belong to that person. You don't even have the mind to think. You can't even take decisions. And so in our real muno, third aspect, will be by mental slavery. And the fourth aspect, I'm a person has to do with our real third party. Nipa bi a wo wonchen ebetimi nso ayewo akwa na wote aware ni mu, but aware no mu nsensam ne niema no, you will never be in charge. And bibia no obi na dictate ma, because for you don't have the mind to think. And nti ane so wo hwemu aware mu no, and yes sir, o spouse a your slave. Rather, or yeah, or servant, because he or she is there to serve. So the question is, it is obema etisika ekoye oba ho ade a onye ne dia. The question is, there be onye ne dia. And I think what it mean ma ye tesadi we yase. So ye bema na akoye oba ho ade a, and sometimes you hear people say oba ma tesika akoye ho ade ye me pe bia na. Who told you said you pe bia? When you talk about marriage, we come together to serve ourselves. I'm not your slave, but I'm there to serve. So maybe fine, I'm your servant, fine. And the for the person can say, near Universal say, our real ye will be no so ye will be no so I am na a hununa no dos threats. And based on threats, no, mentally obey to me, I enslave you. And it's unfortunate. I am not to the beer, baby a testing. Ebi ana bear man who say obana pen. And now obana who say bear man a pen. At the end of the day, so Casu Jano Kra won't me, and any man. And there are people they will just take advantage and they will just make you a slave. It's unfortunate. Say we a bear so your bar. Now, if that is what you are doing, it is wrong. Dear Anka Mesre be brave and say our real I was say your tears, they say, me yere on your slave, mikunu on your slave. We have come together to help or to serve one another. Now, the idea is say, as or ye me yere or ye media or ye mikunu or ye media, and as if so we near drinking, and as if so want to mean minute, as if so want to mean can be, as if so want to mean take a decision be. It is totally wrong. 100% wrong. And the entire from that perspective say, and mental slavery in relationships. And yet. But the question is, marriage can be slavery. It's yes. Because this, until I may say, we are your spouse servant. You are there to serve. Marriage is not for your happiness. It's not about your happiness. It's about his or her happiness. And so if you look at it from that perspective, then we can say, our remuno, a true baby, marriage can be slavery. Why and how? If we say a true baby, you don't have the choice. And even the choice, you consider the other person. You think about the other person. You don't just make a choice. Say a kobanisa. Uba say, you were say collective decision. And to be naba, and I did be near person ya. Can the two put their heads together and do, or only one person has to do that? Because that's the whole thing. And I think we have to even think about that. Because the question is, Bemano, Nkwana all right, so yeah, and Albanans all right. Inti Ekobasa, the two, they have to come together. But baby, I'm a person yadwene e back sin say. Baby, I'm a person yadwene baso kese and say one. So warrior. And I think say a idea and can be warrior more. Yema amount for tiasi. Yes, unye spouse slave, but you don't own yourself. And there are people who just take advantage. Maminya butrena michichu. One. There are certain decisions that you can't take without your spouse. There are certain actions you can't do without your spouse. And until ebe here, nanke yebetia says, mi wura wari mono. Eduru baby a kwan bi so aya na wari. Yes, slavery kakra. If you say you can't just get up and say me kwa, then me pebia me ye. And there's how time now you sujanino. Now you are not accountable to anyone. But the moment that you decide to say, I want to marry, there are certain things that you have sacrificed. One is choice. Yes, because now, senka first I'll do my chewy, my new way, my koto way, my far way, no, there be marriage element. I will quite be brazo. Because in marriage, you are there to serve. And service, you will move so many ways. With yourself or spouse. It's unfortunate that is sometimes in marriage, some of the service we don't even recognize and appreciate. Say, Odoba, abofrana de no comma babysitter. What do you say? It is a ukunu to take care of abofrana, and now we need to take care of abofrana. How do we appreciate? But somewhere we think say normal. Yes, normal, but can we appreciate? But obana to asha abofrana, bema na asha abofrana. Can we appreciate the obana ye and the bema na ye and that's thing. Another area be a me pesa yadwene ebaso how in relationship yetimi eka obi kasaboa. There's account for kasabi omo kanasa esheniyem, and you can't even talk, you can't even come in, you can't even open your mouth because onimu nyansa. Na nanka first ewo hwa na eye mindset ema man mubi so bad ye nene nwene if you so bad ye onimu nyansa or bad ye or you say. But now there are a lot of a year what you say it's never true. So be cancer and I wish and you decide I'm sorry, it is not there now. Abisa 4 years, you say marriage can be slavery sometimes. Ewo kwan best. Ewo kwan abra. We can share our challenges that we are going through. And it's very hard and difficult. There are people who are going through a lot. Some men are going through a lot, some women are going through a lot. Few days ago, I was discussing something with somebody. And what came out was nipa bibira oma warrior enye ubia odono and warrior. In fact, and from that I've been reading, and few things are popping up on nipa bibiri a warrior obano anabema no warrior no onono ananankenye ubia anko no person warrior no. A situation and our circumstances binti and lead you to sir. Awareɛ biara will be anya do ɔdɔ no anaa ɔpɛ no anware no. Ɛden. Ɛnyɛ mmerɛ. There's a research bia ɛtɔ da bi ɛsɛ bi ɔbaa bi aware ɔfa no kunu akyi and all that. Ɛtɔ da bi paa nanka wohwɛ saa ayi na ɛyɛ na wobɛhu sɛ bebree wɔ hɔ a ɛyɛ na ɛtaa kɔyɛ ebia boy bi mmere bi anaa girl bi mmere bi anaa obi a ohuna sɛ nka yɛ ɔbaa anka ɔpɛ no anaa bɛrima anka ɔpɛ no sɛ nka ɔpɛ so ware no ɛna mpere bebree no ɔmo ne wɔn ɛtaa yɛ biribi saa. Enti awareɛ mu no sometimes that's a rare challenge and a challenge ɛma nipa bebree because nipa bebree wɔ hɔ a ɔmo anya bɛrima anaa ɔbaa ɔmo dɔ no anaa wɔpɛ no anware no. Na ɛkɔba saa ɛbɛyɛ rare challenge kɛseɛ paa. Enti atiefo ɛne ahwɛfo yɛbɛ move akɔ the next segment but yɛpatwo sɛ wɔ question bi anaa wɔ asɛmbisa bi na apɛ sɛ ɔde ba wobɛtumi ɛde aba. Ɛnɛ yɛhwɛ mental slavery in relationships. Yɛastarte yɛaka obi wɔ ha obi na obi astarte abro ne ne call to cry no opese o control no just say what is the phone everything opese o take over opese o take control ni patron cry ne no. We have said it's a wrong. You move to our arena kasemu say we reason together, we dialogue in marriage. There's nothing like say me ye bema makasa e fana me your ba makasa into a fana. The moment you do that, what is happening is oh ma enipa ukunu no ana wo yere no sabre no wo capture no na waye no slave e wadwenim. Edi ye besre edi producer yeah, sure. Now, before we move to next segment, and Abisha for Safin the white journey and ne yeah Kasafa a quanya kakran sometimes unconsciously. Ye timi ye your spouse or no slaves. Ya church mu say we will be servant. And you different from say we slave. The two are not the same. A servant gives service to someone. But a slave, no dear, you belong to someone. You don't even own yourself. You don't take decision for yourself. You are under restrictions and all that. And today, you say, looking at Abinuma warrior, can we say, Abinuma warrior, can we say, almost spouse no, almost your slaves, and almost you're just servants. In marriage, we come together to serve one another. It's unfortunate to say a bit of take advantage now or more partners, no slaves. To the sense there,
Hello, Reverend.
Yeah, producer.
Pacho, Mama use this opportunity now, Memfa and share a year out of 4. Kakra sabre omanya emre ababe kan hona afayen samo monti asese enedwumadie no open to any question bibi na wonti ase bibi na hawa ubetimi ebisa sanso ne pese obi biara nso ya
what is that wait me the link and so cry to obi pese of forever so no so betimi room.
Oh, okay.
Until the link na to chat you on so obi pese on so ya.
Okay. Into my says ya ba me di kind and share now amom biwiana my year and no ya den check asema Stella adia pena sans na koma root apnt ya fi sans na koma Henrietta Ganza Ebenezer Edusa koma Fifi and Lucia Douglas sans na koma Grace Ganza mamia kenipa ameao Ama Mensa, Almighty Samdan, ɛna ɛkɔma ɛyɛ yɛn nuaba ɛyɛ awɔ mmirekua ofori sachi
Hey,
Frederick Asuman. Yeah, sounds na kɔma ɛyɛ mamak ashite. Yɛda mo nyinaa se yɛbɛhyɛ sɛ obi biara bɛba so bia ɔma mmɔden asɛ ɔbɛhyɛ message no ɛde ɔbɛhyɛ video no ɛde ɛbɛma yɛn. I think sɛ mfitiaseɛ na mmerɛ a wobisa question or said no, we are there to serve each other. Nti ɛno ne message
so sorry, in Samitiasia, the American and Nippon also contribute to say, because the question is say in marriage, our we are we there to serve ourselves? And I say yeah slaves. And yantiasia yadasi be nuamba.
so and I think so yenia baganza na opewo number or so open number but ne kasa mu no yehwa na kyerɛ sɛ ɔpɛ sɛ ɔcall in mmerɛ a woyɛ program nti yɛpɛ sɛ yɛkyerɛ no sɛ yɛ open phone lines no nti obetumi afrɛ number no ɛna ɛnam aseɛ no nti obetumi afrɛ number na nso nie obetumi atwerɛ ato baabi na watumi afrɛ ɛnkyɛ me de link no nso bɛba abɛto so sɛsia sɛdeɛ obi biara nso obetumi wa ɔpɛ sɛ ɔba so live no watumi aba so live ansa na yɛnnua awɔ mmerɛkua nso ɛbaeɛ a ɔno nso ɔde nkyia kɛseɛ ɛma ɛyɛ obi biara.
Na producer so say I would also do the birthday there.
Hey, where the me da sɛ wo kan na sanka we na ya fa me we say kakra minim sɛ ɔno ne de na yɛ 1 week ne 1 month de ni bia. Enti wakan de yɛbɛdi ama no. Yɛbɛdi ama no wɔ ha sɛsia ɛnkyɛ yɛbɛ celebrate no ɛwɔ ha nom nti yɛda nase bebree nti saa brɛ de reverend major mu edi amount emra wo call the next segment no na me the link no atimi ato ɛhɔ nom ama omo na obi biara nso atimi abaye part of the program no to we dey da se bebree ba phone lines ni yebie ɛna tie for Mr. Mo ɛnɛ yɛ papa woni mmiri nti so adwen yɛ ɔsɛ wo sena ase atwen a ɛnkyɛ ɔbɛ continue question bi ana sɛ wɔ contribution bi a anim yɛ abɔmɔden asa wo de bɛba yɛda ase bebree
Yo, producer that's a dear friend that's a I will happy birthday bium. And the radius baby or do a baby drew. I will actually be casa. My friend I yet didn't come. I tell for any actually for the me pesa young to neighbor so and say ye can't a warrior pa. And yes, say ye spouse or no slaves. And you're wrong. In marriage, we are there to serve one another. And Nick said, "Ye funny say, ye nom, ye dia precoppend, ye baby, timid yawm, ye kunum ye dia, ye baby, ye timid. In fact, at any point in time, be a side in the costoro. Something is wrong, and yet, cry, any quancy. Any kwanse side no isi kra enti de etiefo ne ahwefo de pese yadwene baso a me pese ye ka ewa ha na ye call this last segment no and they say ye hwe aware in fact I was say anka ware no eye adea anka eboa enipa ema na sitinem etono senka onware ye no na woni anigye a the moment okobewura ware mu no o say onya anigye se na onware ye no enema bi nkoye mano a the moment nkobeware no de I was saying kanema ye de but it's unfortunate how you hunu aware any the way I package aware any the way you treat aware. Or see me no bomu nantia a ye change bako. But now there are people no and so how I wish to be over Kubinyanke or no one. So the question is adinta. Nina understand aware mono. yentimi and communicate ya. It's me or how. Say issues popping up. Na say our phone intimi discuss it. And to admit ain't see I can't for back and say yes. A challenge. To both say issues be popping up. The couples will not come together and think through the SC. No moon, baby, Maria, and any man. One said the idea is oh, the dust will settle. To one say a Jan and a BBSC. No, will bring them together. And so one said deep down, side in a course, you resolve you, no war. And to one say more costuming in a nenema echo. But and then you focus on the brain, a mental slavery in relationships. And you per se, you train your brain a crack. There, say, baby, a person you can say, our real say, Muntimi Tenasi 1 week. Abra Monkon, yeah. And there are people I make you when I say Zentokwa, like it's missia compliment to the sense silent trade and other things. But the question is, sad ne possible, ne ye be bria. A mubako it me be slave mentally. Say, oh, producer, dear bako we are saying. Say, bibi hame. Na se menya will be uncountry, no, and I said, mean to mean country will be a. Nipa number said, this is the right person that I can talk to. This person is my spouse. This person is my partner I can talk to. And I said, oh, to me, and ninen kasa. The problem, kasia pa, a woman, and I pop it up, and I said, nipa no, a dream obenya challenge. Na enem so obenya challenge wa adwene mu ntino e ma ne ye din ne din a e ma no ye ene se enipa bibi how bebre na ze wunya opportunity to express sa nema how na ewo negative effect ewo so na ebinom the man no a challenge ni say our phone no do wo mo na say baako na wo do no wo ne side aya na wo suru be me pe no ndi wan hwe a okugya me and it's unfortunate that people kra no a they go to that extent say producer omode etrete me do ya meja ho me gram si we obi until the moment as I had any question, a bear means or obey, and I obey pebe me yadekitwa. But if you ban empedy, and a bearman in empedy. A cobasa, a ding. It won't say, a near my baby or cry. I am a yeno, a hanu. And then my baby and a hanu. But it will be a challenge. It will be a challenge. And the yes, sorry, please, I'm so
yeah. Reverend, now me pesa me kabibi kakra na so me bisa question kakra. Unsa wetian Ghana foi dodo na ya mo say your culture. Me hu ni say mema ni bi agina saa de ne so afa omoyerenom as slaves. And I work as a crowd kan cause mema bia dodo na obi enano na me ti sika ware wo na say enti wunya sure say saa niema no so eka ho na bia ema your community no ehu saa niema no.
But producer, I'll say a man for theater say culture is dynamic, it's not static. And the menya butre a church side we mubuda. Tetino ye ma menom na wo mu nya adwuma ete said ye ne ye adwuma. Adintra tetino na bibi wo hot to say mema school by exercise mema na ne do omoko ene nyuma na ne wo ho no nso no say mfom nyuma ene niema bebre no tete no na ye maame nom no na omo hwe fie bibiri mesre etiefo producer maame nsanka menim se maka no wo platform yi so da but maame nsanka enye ye papa nom ena omo ka se omo nye niema ewu fie o tete no eye ye maame nom ena make that decision no if he says habren se oti baby a eye forest kwaye mu a papa one papa no kwa afu mu a ohwe se de papa ne si do na wo hwe nnua a papa ne bebuo ene niema na maame no ankasa ma hwe ade bi da na it's unfortunate say ne sa de ne koso there is unfortunate but meaning say man for the ba e be kaseti anipa bebre tete no ya maame no omo ne ya papa nom akwa afuo mu no se du ba bi kra no mo kwa afuo mu a oh edu ba bi kra no mo kwa afuo mu a na se wo mo ba ade ba kwa na wo mu ni se ohwe adwuma papa na koye ne maame no nya adwuma sa enti ohwe adwuma papa na koye a ade kye obesa akoto aso oh nyesa nye maame no nya adwuma but adwuma no edin no na ye papa no ye kye nti ye maame no omo ba etro bi kro omo kura na afuo mu no omo adidi tete no afuo mu no obekọ a okọ afuo mu omo no aduane wo ho omo adidi nti ono oba no kra wa men nti bo se jaba akwa na me ni bibia ode be no nsuo ene saa ne ma no nti oba na ohwe ni kunu no se de wasi abre oje ne ho tena ho a osode kra eden nti no abomode ode nsuo akuse no wadware na ye maame no so wadwene bi se omutumi hwe omukunu no ye na omo ho ye den enya hoden eye sa adwumaden no a edi sika ye den eba sika nso ba ye jisu koko sika na nema na eka won na ema enye se obetena so se me kopo na ntisa na ye mema ena ye sa nema ni nyina nti okopa oba no enya botre etuti ni ye kono se na kopa to say oba bi wo hokra na adwuma na edin che bema the question is it is said ye nananom sa brand situation na omuwo mu no na ema anya adwumaden no eno na sa brand ye koso maintain no bi so ka say culture there I am sorry something is wrong somewhere because producer ade ba ko ne say ye nananom ene ye papa no yes ha no na omo nyi sika mfiri omo yire no mo nka say onso so omo ne yi akohoma omo ene ebo akohoma omo ne ye sa ne ma no enti yetie for the next trend say sabre no o pese o ka se culture nti sa ne ma ni nyina o se be oba na na eya ene me pacho ema anyi sika mfiri oba no ho wo na o se wi sika ade bi o se etobia because o producer tete no bibia na ewo ho enti na omo yes ha no but eye ne mre ya sa ne ma ni ho no eni kwase egina so ka se chinchin sa enti se so bi ka se ye betoi eye ya mane a enipa kro no kra wonima mane onte ase na producer me ade ene tiefo ade ba ko amahunu se enima bebre wo ho a producer ye no sabre ye nim the genesis of that thing yes ye betoi yes ya mamere ye be ye say na yesu ye oh how I wish sometimes we can go back take our time and look at our niema no a na mo ye adekuro nti a no mo ye oh yeah the unfortunate thing is say ye penso no ye challenge ye wono no na ema nya adwumaden na emema na ye adwumaden a ye maame no hu se da bi omukunu no mu bredodo enti omo nya efie adwuma na omo be ye no does it mean say sabre no say ema so ye adwumaden sa na efie adwuma ni nyina na ye nkasa ma me de bia me kansa producer so wo oyire na producer so oyire no yes aniema ni nyina producer danyame ase na danase danase producer ye ntiase oh producer ya ma ebi mu kra adwuna yom say ye bible nhihye
Yeah.
mama ye ntisa aniema nase ya ma that is a mindset now ye maame no huni adwuma na omukunu no ye adwumaden na omo ye eto da bi obi wo ho a omo na omo ewo kwaye mu a four bequaco door, and we are obebuo, or bubble store, or beshi, a to the bina, or shina and shia, and was a wapam, and this anya menina. Oh, ain't it? Nanyam medesa, and until a man near me be a course, and until a man near me be a course. In the telephone for yesterday, woman young hide behind that couch. I no say, yeah, my minimum, a money and your money, a member, you bet 2 years. Therefore, sir, a situation be and a man you may be cause in the situation woman's honor, and near man to sir, and you can see a source. That's why I said, culture is not static, it's the dynamic. And near my sister, and it is a breno, titino, and Pabua Neshe, and Tadia Neshe, and yen in the name of Yeshe. And then you did them, and then you should be men consume yet that primitive mindset. A cake, a tinoano. Meanwhile, one casano, somebody young one you chop money. Who is Patissa when you man over contribute? It's hadn't in a West Party because the tenoa. Now your mamma and you chop money. Your mamma, yes, Anno. Not woman, you, ain't yes, sir, tea for their reform. Yes, tea for their reform. Ye papa nom ye maame nom no abra no mo ema no you know na ema no enyi chop money enti ema no so omo fi wo pepa mu ni akomapa emekuna yi chop wo de obeka kra so wo hwe me obeka ya tete no unhia ye maame no mu bia obeka so okoye aduane adida da bi obeka se mekoye mekuna aduane etu bi kro mo medi mekoye mekuna aduane enche na mekunu bo mekoye mekuna aduane because no munni madwuma wo mukunu no mu ye ene na ma sa ntutu ye ne hye no koye ye ne mbremu ebetu ba se wo ba no in our contest adwuma wo ye nua bi a wo bukura bi e kye wo ba ma yi de say no or the ba you cannot expect so be contribute to at the same time I expect so on the baby bi na say so we ye yes sa ne ma ne mawa in fact I was say we done say I was say we praise you because a extra job yen can so why because if anything I was saying can together. But I can say be our casa.
Oh, Debbie, patron, na me try some the link in a bema then we have a woman anti my try some
okay.
And Reverend, who said as the king, I can say 90% I am member. A member no do and I think say or casa be and I say ya taika or would your bar. A member casa men can be san near man also a near maybe I'm a fool and also a kind shit.
Now producer and that's all how man for can.
Hey, I'm a hop and crop. A member no me pick and choose no. And says ya obey Jamus says ya your bar member casa men can be.
Say obey maybe a enemy word or cancer semana. Enkoye.
Yeah.
Because and yet me nya wo ba we president leading the man in him. And the producer tio sad no kratete no producer nente sawo. Producer the mami musa bibi. Mami said TF4.
Yeah.
And how I wish to say anke do baby a ye nuanum bi ho be call machi na sa ne ma no mate ase. Producer tete no ade na asem si a yetimi kase yekobisa abrewa. If the abrewa no oba no enye obi onim nyansa oba ne nye obi a oye kama mami nya na awo brem once I will join ne de mami I will now join your hand so you share ne ma wo bia awo say wo mo awo interview wo mo nya grow
Sir,
wo mo awo ne wo mo chat enya grow let me say
happy birthday so you better
hey awo money adwuma
Baba Sofo now when me say in fact only say Joe are better fans than all of them so we need that out we need someone with their now say Joe can be ball kwadu enye Mrs. and send them link And how come I say last week menya link, this week is menya link. Me cars happen and who's a message I send them a link and I'm saying, yes, I pray you are bubble. I just say to government to them.
Yeah, sorry, pa.
This is just by the way. So I was saying, I was away. She asked about your hotel, meet to run a hotel. Because of the in fact, my birthday, Mama, God bless you. God bless you. Where dear, someone moon as usual, me shake table, neck a crabby. Whether it's cultural barriers, whether it's a sorry barriers, or whether it's a Susie barriers, who I'll shake the table. Yo, yeah, can't say Titia Mamma and money. Bem say people have mixed it together. They don't actually even know what is an inheritance anymore. He said, you know, a bam said, and I'm showing me old videos bare 4 years ago. Now make about say Oba Wadia will come chile. And then their mom won't a bang in chill. The chile say, Bear man might not even have a job. Or ban the nurse or the nurse's quarters, what better than so or nurse's quarters, or your police officer, what better than so or barras, or your doctor's quarters, or what better than ho.
Or yourself, what better than BC house?
Or yourself, what better than BC house.
Because
yes. And kind of nanum a concrete chileno, not an unti autonomy of to me a sham merima and semono. Ma a merima a fabribia bo because it's not unkind so what I papa mom won't tell because or no back for a year 2 years school fees or no back for a year shadow what fast for sending my man and papa tiasia or one crying elbow who I'm not one young crana ya back. One who papa back we are yes and you mean na nasa wusho one unkind yet ye janum obedi 60 70 what doing the prime and a murphy fair na anka a jabet nase na anka we are sinyansa wasuya kakra or the man ma and also who okra no one san juma or be pass it on to the next generation omo ye haban roni ade and come be pass it on and your man can get and be born ho ban sa time na papa na yemde no awuko fra na papa na but enne nyamen chade nimdie e dos and no so nkyere said nyama papa e wo mu no e na the bible aka ne be san ho na mum se obema bi wo ho na oka say de bia me ka kire ema omo ko ware young ones se wo date ni pa no oka say I am the head, I am the head, I am the head, you need to submit. Now you say submit ye therefore to each other. A deep time and a count once some say yen awade is empowerment. Empower me, na mesuma empower. Just like this evening, I was just saying, say St. John and Mommy link. But you know what? Just so that you know, if a marriage is good, somebody is intentional about the relationship he has with you. He is concerned. I am sure. Me jidi wa me hum say, maami akuya wa adwuma mu. Nanso onim say sabre ni kunu ye program. Enti yanya yenim ni kunu nyina obesende ama ti say St. John refi ye. Empowerment oboa se maame akuya kwa adwuma anopa na wo pentam na nkwala ni nsiesie ohu a St. John mu say me yiri kodi pa enti so sorry na oboa nkwala ma nkwala no osiesie nkwala no ho a onye kotobunku kind na ye te Ghana no wo maame ni omu bi enye adwuma eya na ye ka say bi mu se na ye maame mu ye adwuma. Yes, the mentality, the way they were groomed, ne say was say oba eye bribia o ye fiade yo nyina ye tu kwan ye hu say trolley cry de ko shopping udru ledo mo hon mo friends some of the grocery shopper say what's ebi wo kwa mbeko na brofi kita trolley edu Ghana fo nko an oba na kita trolley because me shedin sada ko ba kunu na ayisa na mo say papa Abrofunu say Ubroni Nikita troll because I will never forget that conversation. Why? Because me how that happened. I was very observant of my environment. Why? Because and yet nyamani nyina yenim wo Ghana no anade yenim na e papa na say ye kompon me mpesa mama me yira feel say or is in slavery in the marriage me
Yo, I think sir, yeni aba FZ
I'm saying I will wait you na the line.
yeah, freezy kakra. Inti Reverend, obetimi atwa so.
Yo, at your friend, I'm a super now. Then I you go so can minim say wo ba means she will come back now about so. There you go so a share and how our remu yetumi ye kununom ana ye yerenom enkoa e wadwene mu eno ne ye discuss na ye question producer every day beto ho and na ye ya awo enso ba mu ana awo nso contribute. Enti awo asan ba meka so obesan ba enti awo asan ba enti awo
so na make say awade eye empowerment se nipa me ware no enema ewo me mu enema anyame adom akyede ewo me mu enema ewo mu se oba no me kunu beboa ma na efefe na ne nyina hye Kristo di anyunyam me nso oba no mabrabo a mebo enya setena me ne eja betena no ebema adom akyede ewo agya mu enema anyame di adua ne mu afefe na ma enchirima ene won we ye hu nyina abetwa bieti se yenya hu awade in that small sa contest ya making ya e wo se nipa esese ne hu yie ansa no akoka I do but to the do wa na foundation ye wrong yenua ma ni bi wo ha ye pentam ama ya fra ye Mrs whatever Mrs so and so enti the red flags are all there ye hu akwa no or ye bully said ye oni nua ma eni ni ma me kra kasa no enye enso yenua ma bi wo ha fe awade na se duru wa wan hwe ya wa wo yafumu ma bebo obayi se wo ba esi awade kwa so na wo ka che se antie ene yo na me subantie wo fie ha ana me ko bisa na se no me kwa akose da bia wo firi no me bisa na se no yen kan se mpa firi no ho wan hwe ya wo ba wa wo ahwe no atua the school fees bebo obayi ana ebi wo ho nso abiem before bebre ya ncha how to communicate. I am sorry to say this. From top to bottom, from your mama and nana no so ni abiade. When we say if ye Ghana, only penny kasana we share anymore, he think it's rude. This side of contact is everything. So there's a deficiency on us as Ghanaians. Or your bar cry or buy a tracks and or bar bro who has intino, baby or hopper was or bar casum. Sabi and no cry and quay pape, Sabi and yam. Where you said you papa and quay, so may a dame. Sometimes our any problems who are our phone as a counselor on the quam, the trivia and something, but as we dive in deep, probably one of them is sexually frustrated. And because communication, we don't have intellectual communication skills. And my to men one, there's a lot of things that fight against us as barriers, as typical Ghanaians and Africans, both Oman and Myanmar does not know how to communicate. I have couples coming to center in front of me. They've been fighting for 3 years. Simple thing. This thing have happened in my home before. I'm not ashamed to say it, but sometimes when we make ourselves vulnerable to you, I want to own mine too, so that it doesn't look that I have it all together. And sometimes, those of you who go into my husband's inbox, that man is very self-confident. He knows me, only me. But when we understood, we are on the same platform, knowing, say, I have his backing and the support. Some of you will be surprised at some of the videos. But they do over videos do over yeah. Not their inbox.
Wow.
I don't know why Ghanaians do that. Let me put this here. That man knows me. We've been married almost 20 years. So he knows my in and out. And me, baby, I met through me age. No cry. Wow, she gray hair. Yeah, me hona yefe. Say, I am living my truth. One who said, before the brain sad anyway. No. I am the type. some of us, this is what we have been called to. A lot of people who call themselves pastors, they are teachers, they are supposed to teach. And was so much sorry. And the body of Christ, it's hanging everywhere. We have the ministry of Jesus Christ is coming today. Why? But they were supposed to live in the church so that the church will benefit from these things. So some of us, we might not be on color. Doctor, reverend doctor, apostle. I don't even need the title, but asempaka edi to me edi asempaka, and do not here. For instance, make about communication, being intellectual and very intentional about communication skills as Ghanaians, which you have. Bebree say, "Semeni obi kasakra me hwe n'anim." Ghana for bebree and macra the what's corporate. Obeme bi oba wani oba kasa na ni deda enti obefie na abeto no abadadawa okita remote o chia no kra no onpeja ne team hwa wo nhwe se o countenance a wodi wura efie hot sen na amananya informed judgment to know how to speak to you. Sadly, a simple thing. I have gone through that in the phase of my 5 years before Minimi Kruwari from. Obana my ye busy, I watch Yakura me ye bribi. And I was super for some time. Then my husband called me. He said, "Me prefer as a unimu huadache. No person, some ne pen me. Me saying a ma be ready for. You are so engrossed with the cooking and everything, and you are not intentional about looking at the face of the person. Papa, my yet a whole pamphlet of being intentional about relationship. For once, my birthday in the mood of prayer, I was just writing and writing because there was so much was pouring on me to write. And one of the things is relationships. We have had encounter with great people, but we have missed opportunity to communicate very well with them. Simple be anokasa akura anyede. Oni say ye kasa ye tone ye de kasa. There are sometimes you have to speak with a very soft voice because situation demands that. There are other times you have to raise your voice. There are some people everywhere they raise their voices. But who the difference of when you are sober in speaking, whether you are humble in speak every day, brag. And let me tell you, we didn't just get here. Some of us, we have to learn. I've told these people, my side, I am the oldest. And it depends on the mood you see me. When it comes to my mother's side, I am full pilot of the home. As a man, I have to set good principle example. When it comes to my father's side, I'm a 10th born. St. John, I'm sure side of Rakanu, me papa, such a better dorsum. And everything I have to fight my way around. And sometimes, like I said, I have fights because by the time I do 10, so now yasa. Me stepmothers in chain. Me have lived with stepmothers, no one, not two, not three. So you could see some of the damages that I've done to me because everything you have to fight for. Such a broken girl said, "Nyame anya wadoye. I'm a well who baby awujina. Now one kasa anya wadin say I will shift certain things in my life. Me can move you a while. Abrabo baby do nam. How broken you are, I don't know. But a multi say only communication skills I work around enya papa. Enti wa na asede bi eja demuno eye shift kakra bi change kakra bi na wasa woye obema bi wo hwa is broken so much say ye bro ba no feel say you normal why because as he was growing up he saw a father beating a man and then na maame no ade sa wasa no aduane out of the pain na na maame ya kocha no anu aduane omo da chamber and hall ade sa maame na so ya so as the subconscious of that boy, he thinks that is life. And before we are damaged. Who are what's not tenant house? Obehusa Obani Okunu do one water. And now the uncle now or raising or the broke any raising. Ain't that man is done me. My friend say, what's it? Uncle, you ain't saying. The better one to be the show. I know what I'm talking about because I've lived with stepmothers. And to the better one to be the show. na ne tu yase ne ba na ye so wa na ya bro enti woni no there is some bitter anger bi wo mu a bibi kakra bi a na trigger saa de enti woni abotre wo nipa ho but you have less patience, very small tolerance, even for your own kids. But all of us have been through. I am not ashamed to tell you, say, I've come from such a background, but today you see me like this, I have to work around it. Some of them have not even yet overcome it. Yes. But when you know where you stand, when you pursue there is this thing called soul searching. When people say, oh no, dear of working, what can I do to change it? You be a young piebo for o come piebo mua, Yaman Kronko Dan Yama be bready chrow. A young Crawford say, a yadding so about it's okay for him, say, or back therapy anymore. But the only say, if you are confide on will be a catcher and say, make how it's also another form of therapy. That's where the healing starts. When you identify, say the be also, or therefore, say obi enslave obi no. It comes from sometimes the background we come from, and the Bianca foundation is everything. When the foundation is not right, you see man said Yengu Sukure Bejuri. No matter how I from the best shadow doso, one way beba, why a beba, ya be blesses so, a bedry, because the foundation, no, yan your one juma. And also interest someone who would that down. No remember you busso air cassa and say meaning, and I was sour who yabi. Now, my next yabua, minimum sapa pass off for Emrisha. And Tina say,
and the committee and Castle and Cameko. I will be my what to answer.
Marty. Okay.
Fine. Right. Your big auntie is here.
Amen.
So, like I was saying, sometimes the foundation is not right. And the moment you discover, how would you know the foundation is not right? You will know because the echoes will feel or bone yourself. Or Bemabufu tentem or baby or what, then he is very irritated. Yep, and one of the things that San Kutia you do certain age in our life, almost a way you move, a tobua and chena niema irritating. And yama be brave koswa, so who kunu any more. A told the blue height, also to be catcher say, make it a pause. Namen call more. Yes. I was so who or baby is struggling emotionally to live with you. Why? Because if you are trying, ne papa is a very soft-spoken man. Ne papa is a princess. Or be worry we Sadiana and ma. Now Obama does not have words enough to articulate what is going through. And sometimes I will say okunupa because marriage is empowerment, you know. Be conscious and find out what is exactly happening to that person. DNA koso. Some of the questions I make bisa, I'm able to. He brings the small girl in me. DNA koso. Ebi wawana se nipa ni nimuwa. Bibi to say when you are not happy, he can sense it. So nimuwa pa. And he said DNA koso. But he will find out what is going on in the home and your own finance. Just say everything. Or be if you up in the game. Ebi wawa na a emotional thing. Or baby, I work on the Susana, baby, and so work on the so make come mamma, but a man may do so our deficiency was any money. Or baby, one way a catchery, none of my magic genus. Or be worry about bow, hey, kai. And he does it, the environment is not conducive for that young man. Now, in your words, Ghana for can tell who's a bema, yes, a bema, and on to me showing emotions. On to me shown emotions. So me can sanema me kura wua. When yam me kura amu ni ne mame yamane nsu bema. And every now and then we be about ne mame crops up. We ye bribia and kane mame tiasia and ka enko soa. Na emma be best out in that young man. Now, yeka about foundation, and my munya sheye e was man. A lot of us, like I'm saying, we are like a jar of box broken. Some of us are very broke. And yes, I have keke. Some of us, the cracks are too much. And sometimes you are married to such a person, it needs time and dedication because we want to work at each other. Marriage is empowerment. And how do I empower you? I just say me buana so buame. Me buana so buame. Now me can about say communication intelligence. Let's be honest with our feelings also. And your man, unya obi, I will say, I will work with you, I will support you. Be open and also be very specific about area uhiamwa. Remember the place says me mama yiri who say me wura ho bibi koso COVID yimu bebre adwuma say hours has been reduced. They are going to lose jobs. And remember bebre because of the kind of women they are living with. Because of the kind of women they are living with. A big cry then some catcher will say I've lost my job. It's be maybe no akwane na ma dear son no about the adwuma say. Enti ebi afo so wukuna adwuma aden na omwa. Sit down and talk. So wukunu free adwuma ba peja wani hwe nanim because ebi wo kwa na supervisor bi tete no na but obey you na wo chia na the mood in the countenance will tell you a lot. Yeah, now I busy. I have to cook. I was saying me cook. I was saying me way. Now we refuse say sometimes your husband also wants to be looked after. Not every day, but sometimes. And just
what's
like that.
Okay. What's me I work I am the pa. Unsa emma do baby and emma being the show which you say a man kwan in Crawford see a crocrom. But I can tell you, sir, man, so crocrom, I am your mother. And yeah, it shouldn't be.
Actually, my say, so woman who knew it's in Yanada, or bet me the paycheck a brewa. Petrol cry, bet you. I know what I'm talking about. I know. Or for better say, would you own him yoka? Men that was here crocrom debut. Or bear maybe or what? Answer now, Benny full attention. On those who say you are very, very conscious about him. Oh, you're very conscious. You are really interested about what is going on in his life. Let us do that thing for our husbands because you know that is the difference between a girlfriend and a wife. As a wife, I must know even if my husband is not speaking up, I must sense what is watering that man rather than going to sleep on the lap of a girlfriend. Why? Because for pleasure kicking. Remember, say for you, you have power enough as wives. As wives, I'm not saying say a man was a croc remember, but this is the case, sir. May catch me for you to get the full attention of your husband. Do something extra mile to get his attention. I told you I was so weird, money and a man and yet the same thing will not apply to everyone. But obia what you pay. Look at those things. Do it right. Be conscious of it.
So I think that yeah for that October said some men too are too macho and arrogant, no knowledge of how to love. I think sir when it comes to love, I say you force love when you share say you go school share sana relationship and or danka sana see because you be share you be fan say your partners you ever say oh quite juma on time say you ready. Oh, yeah, maybe said you will be winning some customers be to your side. But sometimes, in our marriages and in our relationships, yeah, you neglect it. Some microphone we are so close to us, because you feel so, you worry on my and because you worry on my they are for us into whatever we want, into you treat sir. And I think so that is an area ha adwene kakra me policy ba ko ne se yen nyina ye betena se ne ate ase se ade a mede ye miri se enye ade a obepe a nani enje ho a adenti na se mede ye no because nipa no se o treat ni good a ono so be treat you good na mess na bebre na man bebre so etight me ye mistakes any statement bi o yo oba na sometimes so ma statement bi everywhere no mu ba say oh be ma de o ye ne den a obe cheat be mo ye sa na mo ma me man license to do some things obu on mo a ne kru abuse ni because of the statement bi a wa make you.
Me pacho, I had the stand to be corrected. So
Okay.
statement my mind who abuse me. It is wrong. Because listen, as a man, say uti awari asia, ebeya wodin so obetena wonsa ewo yere so. After all, he's the king, he's the queen of your heart. Debia me come say any man who raises his hands on a woman is sick and needs a psychiatric check. And for 80% of people have cancer, no, you become deep, no. Not there is a seated problem. The man who is beating the wife, no, he himself has been abused. 80%. 80%. And I can tell for a fact, I have psychiatric nurses as friends. They tell me, Bebrena ebro mani na ebia physically and but mentally something is going on. They are narcissists, they are bully, they are alienated parents, all those things is going on. Something is going up here. Whether you agree with me tonight or not, Macken, oh yeah, bear mana utie me now platform so na ewo mu ya osato nsa. Bisa who says a wo to nsa de ne ba wadwin. He has been a make say bebre wo ho a foundation has been broken. A young man is angry with the whole world because sene papa etoto ne niema yie ankanya ne se obri sa adwene ne wo sa brantie mitrim. When he was being raised up, so being with a woman actually makes him angry because the anger the moment and Pakono will put a foot wrong pet na yawudie is seated he has not addressed comes up. Some of them broken relationship they had earlier times when they are sexually exploring broken heart he did not nurse it properly. One share uko warena broken heart now when your previous relationship it goes both ways. A man can be abuser. Doesn't matter. An abuser, no, we are not specific type of abuser. Everybody can be an abuser. It doesn't matter. Asof wo yebi, teacher wo yebi, police wo yebi, soldier wo yebi. Obiya to me abuser. Depends on the background the person is coming from and how damaged the person is.
Yeah. And I want
efforts not to raise your hands because you know what? When I decide to leave my mother and my father's house and cleave with you, I was raised by a different person. You are raised by a different person. Somebody fed you. The way you eat is even different. Or baby or one, baby or did Sadia no go rotating. It's one net now did this are now kind and a stepmother now no abuse him. Into a charm opportunity about yeah, may kind of say, find out what is making you raise your hands on a woman. As a woman, what makes you so verbally abusive like that? Have you raped sexually? Na wagana no usano obituto mona. You haven't addressed it. A seated secret. Ebikra o papa ana o mami. O papa now papa papa wa fasibidi. I want to young kahuasem. It's any time I would in sebesumu or the say baby pana kaio. A lot of women are in emotion. One who say, "Ya pekatasumu so in a community so much say." Bibia koso wa pariwano and abranti and abrabu, but on to men kahuasem. It's when you know be trigger on the bibiaba and is acting as a man or bear men to osan ne mami wuye. Not when mre am mourning and mourning have stages. Sometimes it puts you in an angry mood. You are angry with the world because of why my mother or my father, why this person or why that person. When you are mourning, stages are come. There is another stage in mourning, and no, it's a denial. You feel say it can. I mean, you haven't been there, and mourning comes in many forms. There is another stage in the morning where maybe you are bargaining. It is some of you, the relationship you are in, I say you are bargaining with God. God, if you give me a husband, a wife or a husband, I will be this, I will be that. Then you go in and the person is different. And I switch until you are still in a mourning period. Mourning comes in different forms. And sometimes you must be a while, we've lost people in our lives. You feel say you're swear, you know, but there's a deep-seated anger we haven't addressed. A lot of us as Ghanaians, you can say in Crawford Banner, yeah.
Okay, I will maybe so.
Maybe I shall say.
Person be so be kra. I don't want to be, and I know said those things will be going on. I will for a dream. So in Crawford situations like that, how do they approach it and answer address those situations? In terms of
the Edikan say obi ehunu ne ho say nsɛm a make kan bi ɛkɔ so ɛwɔ ne tiri mu a wohia mmoa nya wohia mmoa ne say your first step say o identify ne kyerɛ sɛ biribi kɔ so na nyama ne bi wɔ asa na mmɔn wei nko awutu a enye yie because wo na ade no ɛkɔ so ɛwɔ wo tiri mu na ehia sɛ ubenya wo bi obi a ubenya ne say de bia me kasa asɛm yi I say, oh, you need an Eli in your life. Every man needs an Eli, and every woman needs Elizabeth. It doesn't matter. She, in Crawford can say, you need penny, and I'm in Kamasam. The woman said, divinity cannot come down. The moment divinity comes down, that is the end of the world. So what you say? Entinyame offend you one or yadi. Yes. If you are now new, so need to tell him that deep secret. But there are people, there are help. Me, for instance, when you come into my inbox, I've been doing this for ages, over 7 years or 8 years, I'm about Facebook. A lot of people come in my inbox, people I've not seen before. But so when you say my birthday, people are wishing and all over. People don't have an idea, even on the social media. And Namiadum, minimum rosodie, who could be to say, I'm a man saying so obebuao oko Akosia Williams wa obebuao oko Ophelia Goldmark to obebuao who else haven't I call Auntie ya Antobren so obebuao enti ena sister Ajwa Odo enso bebuao me kana me rain fee or sofo Moses and or no so obetumi abuao odofo eboa ewo ho so sofo Moses one awon kwa mama wo alternatives bebree general counseling, that is my speciality. Apart from that, social development, and I'm a coach. You know, Sanya is my field. Or the bar said you tibia Namiadum, and Yenima Minimbroso. But out of experience, like may start here, I have to work through myself. It is not an easy journey, though. But when the two, you first accept what it is and start working around it and making sure, say, into getting somebody to even speak to is the first step. The authors will be able to say, "Nipanubedia to say, and one a working process, and yet be possible for over 30 years, and in fact, 1 or 2 counseling sessions." And so I know it depending how speed the person, how open the person is, and also how he wants the speed. Well, and maybe why you're speeding it up, and maybe why it take time, but then now also what she no sorry. Then we move on and then we go on. And maybe also you need to incorporate your spouse. Why? Because he is seeing the flaws. I say, oh, who baby, free air bar, and mano also ebwa in healing process no enti obi wo hɔ a obeka na asɛm kyɛ na me ka kyerɛ no sɛ deɛ ɛkɔ so no sɛ empo me no kasa wɔ kokuam no amfa oyere amma ebi wɔ hɔ a Bible who say, Okasa taking a long time and son or now, but I say, or almost to be trained and say, yeah, and son, no matter for more. Mra and what ever who see. It is a young developer attention and attention. Wow, so young one was seeking help very quickly.
Now, unsa ayana edu baby nso one partner might agree say oh be person many obi kasa once na the other person no say there be and esisi bebre say mostly my money be cry to me here be there men farmasem enko baby o enko kamasem wo baby anti say even oba no kra na bia bibi asi na obeka kire be man say oh we di anka yenko hu asumasi ana say we bonse na be man no e de abufuo ne ma oba bi sa e wo problem mu a akwan ben so ana obetimi befa o de betwetwe ni kunu no a enkofa basabasa bia na sabufusem bia emfamba
Odofo the woman say obema bia wo ego. Enti even to approach him say yanko for moano, you must do your work well. The edikan say wo oba no say ye hia moa wo ha na wo pese o target ukunu alonga. The edikan was say wo gitum oba no onko ka say me hu say wo kwame wo hia moa ebia unso difo bi wo baabi obedi kan ka kire me kunu say bemena ebia mate asomesi nka obenten kana ade we ya ha me no mene ne koka ye no waboa me pa me gidi se ye mienu tu sa na mo na ebeboa ye nufia won say what the kind of ho akọ wa hu tema na like obema ne hia moa na wode na ekọ na said ye sra ade wo nipa nchen ye were kwan bebre so to kill a cat so what you say na me ka say Ghana for anasa before bebre ni good communication skills. What we said the encourage me ka say ku appearance me ka say me pa che o ya abia. Wa ya so no od me pa che wa di kan te bi wa wan hwe ya won te de wo kan. Ko ni be ka say wo ya boa. Na we say na amanipa na nkrenya ka say kwahia ke agba na o helish. Different forms of communication. We nyina ye asem ba ko ye ka pen yi ho asem. But me se me pa acho, oh me srew. Oh, wahu me de akrokro pa wo cho afei me mame ankasa ehu se ade na ye ko ne beboa me enti na me se ye nkwa. Wahu say two different things. Mama of three aspects you can approach a king. Oh, be ade na boa me ne ko kasa ye no a kire me one or two bi. Me feel say ye mienu kwa ebeboa ama ya sitina mu afe be ma bia ni wa ka we obeka so wo dwene ho ba man time wo so be na so hu nsesa dem so mu a eboa ma ni pakono e feel say minim bra bia or say I don't minim dia wo ka kire me yire but I think say I'm living with a new person.
Good.
See, I don't know what exactly you did with my wife, but I think I'm a new person. And this is my birthday now. I branch here damase. Also, I don't know how you did it, but this for 13 years I've been battling with it. Men can't they were battling with it, but I'll say I don't know the I don't know what you did. To me, no.
Yo, yeah, that's it, baby. I think Sakai best 10 minutes now. Yeah, the baby, but yes, I we the not just and they are so kakra. Middle of Hong Kong, the Ayabel was so kakra. And maybe Brown say, Anna, but there near many people on my debate, man, so. Bema beat me cassette. Adia walk on, meaning say you by men fat. But to me, say, we're prim na kuma, we're prim na drain, say, there is nowhere. Obey baby. Then I walk out. Subai sa ho.
One things yen before your settings mu ya na ye mpese ye beka ho asem especially sorry for entem. Ya na they don't want to hear the word separation. But let me tell you, separation has done a lot of people good. They be said as a counselor there, you don't blow your own trumpet. But you people who see Facebook and any 3 days meeting in the birthday, a lot of them. And yet, Bribia, my bro, so bad is about a beer, 1 or 2 be have said and they've changed in their life. Obi wa or who so fast walk around when I want him. when obema bi to me catch ne yire nim catch ne say de wo ka no eye na me mfa e wo so hu say respect o ma akora ekofom sa bari ma no ohia ne mindset o de ba wade ye di ontia wade ase na sometimes say oba wo gi ne hudi na onim say de me ye ne ye papa no e wo mu a say relationship na broke so bad say be ma timi tina no won say relationship bi wo ba wani ma what no say ade we egu why because eniema nipa ne ye nyina nkyerɛ sɛ abawe odom not ebi wo ha ade ne start ye be 2 years obi timi ka kyerɛ sɛ 6 months ni one ne yere nada obi timi ka sɛ 1 year ni yenko kwan so da me bi sɛ wawadefo am wo so 6 months ne 1 year ye ne wo nada awade ne mu enwu mu de mo nka bre woni bema oba ne bema te 6 months ohun wadagya mu da 6 months enye se wote ebia Ghana no wo ebia America now there be woni ni nyina ate dem winter spring autumn we mu nyina mo te dem how can that be you tell me
roommate
yes to that point na we say ni party ase say ebi wo ha na foundation ni nyinje dan ni edwirigu eba na e wo se ba akoti ase say let's give ourselves a break. Let me go out and go and discover who I am. For instance, let me give you a typical example. According to Omuawari, ye twempna brand ye ready set or best settle down. And I wouldn't say across on. And now I say in kratas and brand on so wo benya krata. Enti situational marriage. Tio. That situation has been fulfilled. What is there again? On said I knew so far so sa. Moma yan kanokre. This one Osofo will not see. Why? Because Osofo bebre who say adie ne nkoyi. Say Osofo Moses wo go yobeka no kra sa wade ne bi wa betra na nwa ti sa wade ne gu. So what yase. And so odi asafo anim nti no. Ebi wo hokra na asori me wo ka kire mo say omun separate kakra. Okwane e da ye be hyeso ama no so an Osofo we e da ma asem ne wa asem ba ye obro mi amekọ yo se me no separate ye nyae. But as a counselor, especially when it comes to abuse, my sister, shift, go and find yourself. Ubekunu say, one kasano, there was the red flag, but you refuse to see it. Ebi wo wana was one kasa because what abuse you yourself, you have been broken and you need repairs. You need to build your confidence up. You need to do something for your own self that will a bit more identity in the midst of being in the hands of an abuser. Especially with the ones abusers said why? Because the punching bag will still come. What boxing your frustration the woman will still come. Or ban po the rent in krata or for quantum and krata nyamenedema. From generation, according to our Bible, Bible say Abraham to kwan. A drew baby na Abraham send a yere a yamiaba, and she and your baby for from Menyami. Sassem way de be ameka. And Grafo breeding the anti chemistry is very good. Men are my husband, Sabna. Mininya me wa pam, some rome home, Ama will be a woman dejum, and Ama aqualabi, me walk way. Moamuni Mikunu is 55 years old. He looks like a 30-year-old man. Osa menin some yamo babe whom a dejum in the name of Nkrata. Entina Nkrata ne di nyapa. I am one person I'm tia going to me a kankrata some. Men a home office man Nkrata. None law I did so the man Nkrata and me passport a almost some in Corinumra. Me by is law near chum. Men are no cousin. It is a mekankrata someone. I know what I'm talking about. And yes, I am a bay man, a Debbie. So I know what I'm talking about. But on the quaff 1 year radia, or no, so do dear baby or Bema Waffy. And you are nan crata, and I would you one. Obi or one on any crukran, as I say, young mouse, see me young crata, I'll be rich and only back on a tramp. Also, I'm a man one now, men young crata, and I'm not our dinner, and some baby do where minimum is somewhat who say, and to wait a yawadi. You bit me in the Yiddish glass, Musa Kubo 2. Na yensi abansoro ewo Ghana. Who say ba Facebook afine lo so ye bo designer belt ni ade ade so edu anadwo a ne yire ekọ escort ne hwan hwan na mo dada no marriage belt undefiled bre ye bia na wo kura wa yi mu nya den sa for you obi kotwi ne mu ye den na for sister no 6 months o ma won go kwans because so gene no mama na kwesti wa outside enti sa asem we wo de bramia wa utimu sa wade na gudada enya me na me gu no munim se enti se bia mun separate ya go and define yourselves. Go and find out why you still want to cleave. The entire person will go so the netna. Tie benefits na munyina munya wo each other no ho everywhere. What do you have? But say ya dia ye empower your ho a. Ubehu say ya entangle so many things. E kan ye bom. Na sa de ban ne wo ho a enye sika. Enye hwe, enye situational marriage. Ubehu say we come together. No matter how long it takes for us to heal, we come back. I have seen couples separated for 2-3 years and they come back. Why? Because they have so many things going on. And yet, because akwala in your university, the bad girl say, I am a full adult, I can take care of myself. You too sort yourself out. At a point in the counseling, akwala have to come in and say, I want my parents to sort themselves out. And what you say? There must be a level of understanding. And he said, Obi was a situation in one. Obi was also he's guilty. When he said the whole canoe no correct, but Ninanda and American, there's so many ways to kill a cat. Obi be a neutral person, not in a rude or anything, but somewhat nasty. I say Yamu Abemena. I think Sebbe Coboni, it was said Obi Bemu. Or Cassa own tia, it was so far, wondering, my dear. Fair was so far, Senator say, I dare not all ye know say and yet, but it still wants to do it. Will you continue to sit there and suffer or seek help? It is up to you.
So, okay, yeah, Sibebre, and then what Kabebre in terms of separation, what do you mean? Found my best 5 minutes. I know, say, yeah, how my best 5 minutes. Yeah, now in terms of separation. Ebiana will be out of listening to this particular program. We'll do that level no. Ono a person obe lose the partner no completely say obi a kona kwan. But onyaya anka separation kakra bae. Ena omo nyina etena ase na omo timi hu niema bi na omo correct niema. Anka ebi anka be boom. Into couples like that. Advice when I when they are on separation, ABA 1 or 2 advice be out of the mom said their ABA they themselves can decide, okay, we are going our separate ways. But what I know when you're willing say Omubeja but Omutimus attention of your pan even though almost separating them, a bit we be keep that link in it there a little bit. Said when they all realize that they are ready, they can come back as married couples again.
Okay, so when separation comes, if the partner wants to keep the relationship, let me tell you, separation it makes both of you think. It gives you clarity to think. One of the good things about separation is say it gives you an opportunity to also explore the circumstances now, find solution to the issue that is around while the other person is not there. So what you are saying, my separation as a bad thing. Honestly, separation should be the last resort when you people are not able to work things out. And especially for you, the women, a lot of you women who have lost yourself out of this marriage. Our dear and yet he has also lost himself. Why? Because a member be according to said now you think it will. So Masha, according to a math fan tem a same mema. Maybe Sasa then America. So Usha Mukrana. Usha Mukrana. Sorry.
No problem.
Usha Mukrana. Yanya yete a brochure no. Se oba e kope bribi emwa ye ma oba no mwase bema. Mano is so intent to also have upper hand and one krata same, especially in Europe. No, Emrano edibwa emani bebri say mema. Eti emani fifent. Ebi wakwa out of that no. Depending where the abuse or the problem is coming from. But many people where they find themselves entangled in this very bad situation, let's say, Ohian Kratano, on one him say at the end of woman or one pay. But on short time, but Mamin Kanchila will be say, yes, don't do what date you be, and now only will be a one and successful marriage. Yes, don't what in the panel. And threats will be a while, and yet, young man, minimum bebre, they've been married for 30 years near the other. Some of them were never happy. A lot of them were never happy. If they will be very honest with you. And if you are mammy, what ya ibeni, and now papa no ya ibeni, who say, who sees to now for with Mamma Mr. Mempenetta. Do you know why? Because he was not happy. Oh, papa, oh, papa, oh, mammy, or young cranny, and yada. And in cranny be a while, so me mammy ban what you call me be that. Obi, a what infantini on can't show. One who says, Sa Katasumi was wasn't make a when there was say, one more catcher. Say, Ebia, this is my truth. Me worry I within when or ye me. Ain't in a mamma, but on count. Me pie Benny, pie Benny, no, the name who be now. And no ceremony, the Master also sees when it's the money I can plan our way.
Not ceremony, crash, say, cow.
But say or best children no gun and best children no catch say. It sounds to me bad experience in America. Ya mamma and your papa womanka. Me papa say they be America. May his soul rest in peace. But now and cry not ya braka, but one can't cry that. And now onya yos me then cry for the many you want. Na and cry out tiane mpamcho manu onyaye ne hwan no anote. Was one incredible between pana. Was the same between you no moody matem. And his item did you know no pen of our wound. Well, me papa they were to me a catch. Baby bisa said nipa who brought send it to me can say, oh man, bet me a case me see so. Infantini bear man or mammy brookie hat in I'm saying fancy for me money. On can. And also, infantifonia, yet the sa na edidiaba sa generation. But me pamucho generation must rise up and say that it ends here. Mama yan kind of hono kure. Now ma enchiri mano amre. Ye mu bebre ye ma we teenagers who are quantum are rebelling against us. Why? Because we are saying one thing when we are in public, we are doing another thing, and you let the kids get confused. When you are in your closet, near money ne yen suban be a muda ne dino different. And na dear someone more damn one in someone more catch there only who couldn't catch them or honey at the until Kwalani are wondering, who are you guys? That is why they rebel, not all theatre at all. So, Misramu separation, no, not to just kill the relationship. But nipa or person na what ye ejunano, it gives him time to reflect and also rethink the way he was handling you. It is a bibi where was set or cost his son. And na young man be it's an opportunity for you to see growth in yourself. One kasa ebi wo mo dia wade obi wo or babrochi or dia wodi nanimu kan to kita nkwala be enumenan. Ono ankasa nhede nya adagye man ho be 20 years of his life. Enti wa betena broche college forms okra won fa bi da. But the moment ankwala na corner separation and answer separation abano, it gives you a new perspective of life. Say dan kan e wo se usua se de yetua ka. You begin afebo say oh bow ho so. Say business bi na wo se wo ye apart from adwuma wo so de 9 to 5 no wa start ye bribi. Wa hu ne nyina it is empowerment. Se nipa no kwa ukunu no kono okokokoko no oba na ohu se oba your level don't change. When he come he will beef up his game. And now you accept him back poor who say you have a new expectation. So what it is separation, it is not there to harm you, but rather look at the positive side. Some of you are so much in a toxic relationship, no, and you not see it now. But sometimes give yourself a chance. Let the person go. You want it. You can't eat your cake and have it at the same time.
Yeah.
There must come a time you say, I'm doing this for myself. So separation me. At your time I make quarantine me who 90 days and 100 days. Living on my own. Doing things I want to do, exploring. Se college na wasa me kwa, se bribi na wasa me ya, finding who I am as a woman, finding who I am as a man. But one who pay bebre separation, we will not be man for ba. No, a complicated issue, no. But men man ti as yes separation ba, who bear man and so to nas na sister who na bisa who say ye di me gina so ne yeso a, am I a good husband? Am I a good partner? Se nyamia basesi a e wo musa me mfa awade enko heaven de umi aten e wa adwata ho a so medifo ana medibim se obisa ho saa nsemu ayeyi na ho se mani adwant na yi a begin to find out adwade na wo pe de na wo pe se me ye enye 9-day wonder de because ade bi wo wa ya and you abeye habit enti no e wo se wo change biribi wo mu adwa beba no you are doing a different job. Utimi sie fie be ma bi wo ho a ofura adwuma ba ba bi owro ne shirt no ono ankwala atwa ho ana ono so utwa ho usua said ye yetena se ahunidie mu obro ba bi anka me ho picking after your own self mubi wo that is what the woman is asking for se wo beboa ne wahu enti sa ne ma mai and it's a boot camp thing asa separation obi o person na wari ejina pa no se wo ko counselor ho a it's a boot camp thing ebi wo ho a you can uber to me baako say bia maame na hwe nkwala nti e wo se papa call her in one single room bi wo baby not too far from the kids for 100 days uba me counselor that's what I do for 100 days go and leave maybe the next town but there's a betimi aba na so betimi akọ especially when it comes to the visit of the kids but a boot camp adeyo ye nyina ye dinsa wo so enye ntokwam enye hwemu but I say you redefine your whilst nobody is there. A coming point, and when you write those things down anonymously, then you begin to know what the couples want. Some of you would dreams, would their shells so just because of marriage. And sometimes some of the books you can't even read, you can pick up. Some of the things you want to do, sewing, I mean, do something. A man also. Clean na why Mr. Who says, yeah, will be anyway. What can I do differently? What will I do for it to be appealing? If you are not some of couples, maybe you are an homosexual relationship, familiarity, you know, a form. The person is not there for 100 days. You learn something. What did you man, mommy, papa, hey, watch them in Yansa, papa. You take a lot of things for granted. Thinking, say, it was say a man. Now, when you find out to say, or Kotana as Usujani, ne did ye mukran, or smedid ye mukuama me femere. And that brought a lot of respect. That brought a lot of respect. And it's because couple, no so my say, this couple I'm talking about, they've been married for 24 years. So let me tell you, yes, number of years that you does not depict to say the marriage is sweet. No. But they must come to a me. I'm no worker saying there has been a time I need to walk away from my husband, and I did it that purposely for a reason. And let me tell you, say a boying because my husband felt the need of me being in his life. First time, it builds you people up. It's only in Ghanaian community na separation Bible na be ma akofo ba amade na ye wonwona na afi nsam na ye bebre mun hyam hoso
say a problem ba ko ne say your partners wo ho no mo a na bia separation kakra ba obia intention ne say me ya ade ama na ye me partner na ya ti ubo se na bia wo ho no ma o pentem akwa relationship bim na ye te say ordinary akwa nani so who said that
separation is say enya say me ya ade ama na you be ya but say you who separation this is how abrofu see separation. Separation is to discover who I am. Separation is to find out when you are not there, what can I do to make life better? What life lesson have I learned being away from you? That is all separation is about. But once a young adrenaline say, me jana mana who so on penny, I will be penny. No,
Yeah.
no. Bra, wouldn't say a certain now when you grab an and free. Now say akoso ebro ne nsem ne ntawanta we bem na ohia separation. That is the time to cool your head, have a clear mind. Jenny, what was going on? Find out what you can do better. One kasa wo yare, wo awubru nipa no yare, and you need help. And help we be say, find out the mama tomensa. Find out the ma aside the ban no ebo body ba ema me ye. So what you say? Enti separation no enye baby I feel now obi na complicated issues no. Separation where you're redefining relationship no, where you're finding out what we can do better to let the relationship be much more richer than it used to be. So what you say? It's a baby your obi be complicated issues.
Yo, mini aba we de yada se bebre ya fa wo mre nyina na ansa na bia obekọ na bia na wo afutuo bi wo asem bi a wo pese wo ka kire adofo ne ahwefo ekwan wo ho no I think say mepe me nso mepe mre na me nso maba wo die mu ma ba be chance ma be twa ba wo niam bi na wo nso wa bebie wa be kire wo wo nso area no na and then I'll say why a blessing at the ama a channel no be brain tea a foot to obey and ude bema a tiefo ne ashafo.
Okay, so asemba kope and emma those who are in relationship. Sex is not love, and love is not sex.
Okay.
Sex is not love, and love is not sex.
Yep.
Now, why would I say that? A young crofobia say you go and pamwagudia and express any panadon. No. Or don't say you build me up and I build you up. And until I am together. Bible said odo eya abojo cherry eya yemye eye hwan e wo peneche e wo saa ne ma no nti so obi wo odo a ye bibi emu otu na esan se saa ne ma no nyina ka ho ne ma no ye odo nti no obua me bebia me mre ye wo no obi wo ho a no wo abojo cherry but oni ma yemye so aho obi wo ho a no wo tema enso oni bone fache nti si yemienu ka bomu a bebia me ye mre no no waso mensa baby I want so yam brand my songs. Yet the sang kakran na awie pay. Enti se me be wade wa ewo odogua. Me di abotre ene abojo cherry etete ye ho na ma ya wade no adimu. I am not perfect. Menya perfect. Tie de ma odo eye odo. Menya perfect, onso nya perfect. Ba ya dia se ye bebo brenti no. The was say ye ema ya bra bo wie peye na ma enchiri ma amre no eno na ye beye nti o de wo pe eto de bu a eto ba bi kakra na ma opa nyame pe ewo awade mu no awie peye what you say you put your will aside sometimes and let the will of God concerning marriage manifest. Yes, I have a will. My wife also have a will. She's not a slave. She is not a servant. My husband is a husband, or ye ma botire, or ye min kunimdie, or ye menu onyam, or ye mehene. Nanso no menya na koa. Sa na me yere enso aye menu onyam, or ye mehema, or nye mafana. Se ye de sa ntiaseɛ no enante wawade mu a, ema asudue eba. Ye de obuo ani ne die ma ye ho ye kasa de ene kasapa ekire ye ho. Se midifo a me pachew ebi wo okra na wunifo ba se de be ya asomdue bebanti midi kan kasa mawura ka wakoma to yam wa hu se kasa bi wo ho a you don't need to anye bribi kese. Sometimes the little foxes in your man keten no and one a trigger near markesi enti samenya akwa ma wunti obaku a enya akwa emma owura kwa minti enti na kwa me ye niam bi for instance ma ye kase menya akwa yi be ma bi wa ahobrase a oboa wo twitwi nkuko mo si niema wo ye we onya akwa da wantumi anye eno nkire se ne nkasa kasa fi ebi so no a o si niema nti wansi a na asem aba sa na be ma nso Oba ebi wo ho no na no aduane ba se da bi wo ho na oba na wo yire se kwa me mabre ma ntumi anu aduane at is all right mo mfre Chinese bi a na ni ase e ko bi ma ta we bi ni na mo mfa mo ba bi ntina ye
Sir,
de
sir,
e na ma me akuya be ko kitchen ai
sir, sir,
yes ka na na ye pen ye dwa kosi edan wo ko
sir.
yenya na ye bre yenya na ye bedi
Obedi, sir.
ti ase asa si e de sa obuo ni die ni ma ye ho ma ya beti henhan ye wa wade mu afei obi a wo pe wa wade ni mu ma ho kwan ma oba panya adwuma na berima nso panya adwuma say apart from me marrying to you now I have an identity I shouldn't lose it. My husband have his own identity, he shouldn't lose it. For the fact that I'm marrying to you should not let me lose myself. Go and think about this golden nugget. And maybe I will share next week. And that will be the question. I will be happy to answer those questions.
Okay, thank you so much. I think said America nyina ne say mejina ahwefo ne etiefo nyina anemu say ene wunya amre na beka ye ho na emra papa sofo efis no odpene so ejina mu ede ma no na chese question bi aye toto de ba ye bia so oboaye sa brei e chese why you hu asi onum say obeboa nanso I know say eye adwuma na wo ye enti mesre obi biara wo hwe e bia na obehia ne moa wan komo kakra ya woni edi yi wafa ba bi afim we ne de odi bia bia kwam tie bia wunya na one on one e na woni ne twetwe nkomo a anka ebeboa nti awo mesre say wo programs no woni ama wo ye nyina just for free na ma nkrofo enhu na omo nso atimi ajoin o because obu bia the first time crowd dey ahia wo nie nti mesre bibia wo pese ochena program e wo ho nom de wo ho bibia betimi e de atudwa
Yo me pacho say and then day di kan ya wutie mi a me ye program be every Friday your friend and lunchtime talks na ebi wo ho a na nse nyame ama akwanya ma etitiri ni abrempon ba so de nti amede omo ba so no there's season in everybody's life na ye see who starts now you who only the facade of the whole thing after it has manifest. But the omo baso the come akosem niemo ma film how they got to where they are so that e bia sheme she omo ana e bia utie no nyom te se Kwame Eugene utimi ehu Kwame Sefa kan mu a they all have a story they started from somewhere e bia no wa hye bibia se na enya nwie peyeye abrabo ne nya nu ba bia susu dua nka wodi wani esusu mediomo baso so that omo come akosem anu ahu say you have not failed yet. Long time talks ye niema bebre wo ho na ye na fie da bia UK time 1 o'clock Ghana time 12 o'clock say US 7 o'clock and upon say 18. You people, my girlfriend back was say this is a drive time for me. It's a drive time. It depends on where you are. So I'm starting.
Okay.
Every now and again, say nyamema eho kwan a me ni page ho na ebi wo ho a awaresem afutusem ne sa anema no nso e wo mu anu mato ba ko bi ato ho ochina nyame ya adom a me na meeting adwom because last week Monday me did my birthday nti the whole of this week I'm taking it as an holiday but meeting adwom na my program intentional relationship that is what I'm thinking of doing tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow and nyame ya adom next week I have a lot of things in my sleeve. Come and just grab a few nuggets now value relationship with others and see whether you are on the right path or on the wrong path.
It's your best say abe follow our ABR.
Like me page, you know, over to me. I send a request. I will accept your request. I will lunchtime talks. I won't require no. That is my private page. I used to do it there, but I need Panadol. You know, maybe lunchtime talk with I won't require and also ewo. Okwabo some info need that so and like it and I say send a request. I will accept you. Then you can come on. YouTube channel so me so I may yes na Instagram so edino eya wo mrekwa and a long time talks ni nyina wo I'm building all those things up. You can follow me any of the platforms and Facebook na me program at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, that's it, baby. I think sir, I know that on lunchtime talks with Aru Mrekwanti. Yeah, best baby say Obi biara when yamre wabaha no YouTube and our Facebook message say Obi biara enkonko follow no. Niema say eya na ehia anase eho ehia pa nti. We dey na chese dey make nyina ne say yeda nase bebre say emra reverend free so na say okoka bibi no yenua ba eyi na kuma mu na de wo ho ono so ebetoa so edemai nti de beka ne say erade enhira no ene yenya yenim say ye papa ekasafa aye mental slavery in marriage. Now I know some new mienu energy madie ebe emfaso bebre de amai na bebre so na yesua every aye dwumadie mu titi ameka nyina ne say sa brede na chese ye de dwumadie no eba awie ye mo amuni abema aye imposona na ameya aka Nick Lotte aka St John aka Kwamet na sa bre mi di dwumadie hu chiame sans na me kire atiefo ne ahwefo nyina say enche na ye de dwumadie foforo baako eba and no you be interview very young prominent people are omo a community num baby biara and also yeni omo bedi enkomo bebre ti sa bre na metram say mo hwe sa adwumadie no so animo na ebeba so yeah the date no ebebre mo you will be seeing young pilots, young doctors na omone aba twetwe enkomo yeni omo di nkomo wo niema bebre ho nti sa bre de na che say yedamase bebre obi biara oba so yedamase yenu aba awomrekwa yedase bebre de beka ne say erade enhira sans na yan kase papa very reverend Moses Antwi de ka nyina ne say erade enhira na yenim say dwumadie aye enhira de ama obi biara sa bre de na che say me de aseda kase be ma eye maboafo ene omo amadaro manti abribia mubehumi wa hana chese esan covid ni ya maintina chese mi but na de models designs at Roma so my ya branch mi komo aye fair na me chiro say sane ma nyina ebi ewo hono models designs also then custom bold and classy moi sadia ebomi ne me lapel ne me bota imutimu say custom bold and classy and kasa stand out baby biara be pia timi huntie bia na say aye bia mu kakra no na person ko shege kakra o baby and one say you can just contact Models Designs Instagram we to contact Models Designs Instagram models_designs na obetimi na communicate or baby biara will be obetimi ameli ade abro yada munyina asese abreni na munya emre ade emaye so na yade aseda kase be ma KTM mobile also then keeping technology affordable yade aseda kase so ma Apex 10 almost say making farming sexy again just abredi so commercials nyina twam na se man temenka na ne munu abema imposona na ameyaw na menemo edi enkra ne sa
I wanna share with you, and you can share with me. Come, let's share together. Oh, KTA Mobile, KTA Mobile. Technology worth sharing.
It's the future.
Ghana fue yedie na bayo yedie na bay Apex 10 fertilizer booster purely organic efrasa simu ene de massase no obo ade ensa no pe na menu akayo se wudro bia nim enti se ode yafu a anya ade aduaba no anase wo a wudi no benya sosaso bia na chese be ma kwaye aye dekorate kane no a ebe fa na tuma pa ede afra na de ma Apex 10 edan so kra de se enema no wadua na ewuwo na flowers ni aduaba na etiti go do agya wadwo a se wudi Apex 10 kanu a ene tese magic no ebe ye prom fe na aso aba bebre ahwadi mu pa etise se no kwiafo ebenya sika ene anigye awo mabra bomu a na utimi se enya sam keto akora Apex 10 e mammo piafo apanifo monfre ahoman na monje nkyiremu ya ehye medie 0552 5057 923 and a plus 160 922 78043. Apex 10 fertilizer booster. Piao, Mama Piajuma, Ayanika Pa.